Hi, church. This is Reverend Carissa, and I just wanted to hop on to Facebook for a moment to say a few words to you on this Holy Saturday. I hope you joined us throughout all of Holy Week for all our different worship experiences, for communion on Maundy Thursday, each in our homes, and for our special journey to the cross last night on Good Friday. And I hope you'll join us again tomorrow for Easter Sunday. Reverend Ron's going to be starting live in the garden at 6:30 in the morning, and then joining again in Sanctuary at 10 a.m. for the festival service. And you can enjoy it all from the comfort of your own homes, in pajamas or Easter bonnets, whatever your style is. I hope you join us for Easter tomorrow morning. But today I wanted to stop and take a moment to say a little bit about this day, this Holy Saturday. You know, so often we skip right over Holy Saturday, in part because it's when we have to schedule an Easter egg hunt. But Holy Saturday is its own day in its own way. And I want to say a few words about Holy Saturday because I feel like we as a community and as a society and as a world right now, we are in a Holy Saturday kind of season. You know, think about the events of Good Friday. They left the disciples scattered and traumatized. After Jesus died, they didn't know what to do. They didn't know who to trust. They didn't know what the truth was anymore. The disciples had had all their hopes built up for so many years and so many months, all to have the hopes just ripped away, and they were left with this grief, uncertain about what was to come next. Sounds an awful lot like where we are. We don't know what's coming next. We don't know what information to trust. We don't know what data to look at. We're a little bit scattered, right? We're all in our own houses, a little bit isolated. We don't know where to turn next. And we are just like those disciples in that Holy Saturday. They didn't know what would come next. They didn't know that the next morning was Easter Sunday. And we too don't know what's coming next in this coronavirus isolation, stay-at-home time. We are just stuck in this Holy Saturday moment. And so I think for us who know the end of the story, who know that there's hope on Easter Sunday, we can learn a lot from those people who followed Jesus on that first Holy Saturday. If you look at the Gospel of Luke and what happens that first Holy Saturday, it says this: "Now there was a good and righteous man named Joseph, who, though a member of the council, had not agreed to the plan of action of the other leaders. And so he came from the Jewish town of Arimathea and was waiting expectantly for the kingdom of God. And this man went to Pilate and asked for the body of Jesus. Then he took it down, wrapped it in a linen cloth, laid it in a rock-hewn tomb where no one had ever been laid. Now it was the day of preparation and the Sabbath was beginning. And the women who had come with him from Galilee followed, and they saw the tomb and how his body was laid. And so they returned, and they prepared spices and ointments. And on the Sabbath day, they rested according to the commandment." These first disciples didn't know how long the grief would last. They didn't know what was coming next. They didn't know what to hope for, but they did know how to take the next faithful step. And I think we can learn a lot from them. Joseph of Arimathea, who buried Jesus' body, he did what he could with what he had. He had an empty tomb, right? And he had a desire to help. And so he did what he could with what he had. He offered to take the body of Jesus and to care for it and to lay it in the tomb. How can you do what you can with what you have? Maybe you don't have some things, but you do have other things. How can you do what you can with what you have this day, the next day, the next day? And then the women, it catches me that it says, on the Sabbath they rested according to the commandment. You know, many of us are working harder than ever before, trying to hold it all together, trying to learn how to do our work from our homes. But these women, they didn't know how long this work would last. They didn't know how long the grief would last, but they stayed faithful to what they knew to be right, what they knew to be true, their tradition, their faith, their practice of taking Sabbath rest time together. How can you stay faithful as we wait, as we watch, as we hope against hope? How can you stay faithful to what you know is right to what you know is true, the practices that keep you grounded. In my house, that means that we still get up at a certain time and have a morning routine, and we still go to bed at a certain time, and we try to keep everybody on track. It means we move our bodies every day. It means we try to be responsible about how many sweets we're eating in a day. We're doing what we can with what we have, and we're staying faithful to what we know is right, what we know is true. And we're joining in morning prayer, and we're reading, and we're listening, and we're hoping, and we're talking, and we're taking it one step at a time. Friends, I know this is just a little moment in a big week for the church. In the middle of a holy week where we have the Last Supper and Good Friday and Easter Sunday, it's easy to skip Holy Saturday. But I hope that you can come back to this video, back to these thoughts in the coming weeks, because this is the whole season of Holy Saturday that we're in right now. Between what has happened and what we've lost, and what we're going to have come back to us and what we're going to gain, the resurrection that we are sure to find, because we follow a God who is all about new life. As we are in this in-between time, I urge you to stay faithful to what you know is good and what you know is true, and to do what you can with what you have. See you tomorrow for Easter Sunday. Enjoy this Holy Saturday.